Okay, so this is video number 2, where I will very quickly walk you through the t-test analysis using JASP. So again, this is very simple. I think that most of you have this, you understand this. Just really quickly, let's spend some time here. All right, so hopefully everybody is able to or has had an opportunity to download JASP. You've had an opportunity to play around with it a little bit, so you're kind of comfortable in terms of how to upload your data and how to begin the initial stages of analyzing your data. But just in case, be sure that you save your data in Excel as a text tab delimited file, and that allows you to really easily pull it into JASP, right? And run your analysis. All right. So here is the t-test, the data for the t-test. We have group 1 and we have group 2, and we're looking at pre-test scores and we're looking at post-test scores. So for your homework assignment, you are running an independent samples t-test. So remember with that, you have 2 separate independent groups. They're not related to each other. Again, separate, independent of one another, as opposed to a dependent t-test, where we're looking at the same group of individuals with 2 data points being measured on the same variable. So again, the scores on the addiction severity index at admissions, and then the score on the addiction severity index at discharge, right? So for this homework assignment, we are doing an independent samples t-test. So one of the first things you always want to do is to look at your descriptives. And this basically just gives you an idea of what data you have. It helps you to determine whether or not there's any data that's missing. It gives you the mean, the standard deviation of each of your data sets. It allows you to see the minimum score in your data, the maximum score in your data. But it's just a really good way for you to check to make sure that everything looks the way that it's supposed to. So what you're going to do here is that you're going to split this by groups. Remember, we have 2 groups, group 1, group 2, this is a t-test. And then our variables are going to be our pre-test scores and our post-test scores. And we will list that as our variables. So really quickly, what you get here is that you get the, it lets you know that for each group, right, you have 10 participants. There's no data that's missing. It also gives you the mean, right, and standard deviation for each of these groups. And again, the minimum value and the maximum value, maximum score for each of your groups. So again, this is just a really quick, easy way to check, to double check your data. All right, no other buttons you need to push on this screen, right? So the next thing we're going to is our t-test, and we're going to do an independent samples t-test, right? Your paired samples t-test, remember this is a dependent samples t-test. All right, so what we're going to do here then, our group will be our grouping variable. Our dependent variables are going to be our pre-test and our post-test. And put that there. We're doing just a basic students t-test. Oh, what happened? Things stopped moving. We're also going to click on effect size. And I talked a little bit earlier in the previous video about our null hypothesis and our alternative hypothesis. So remember, with our null hypothesis, we're saying that both of these groups are equal. Our alternative hypothesis says that these groups are not equal. Again, we don't know the degree to which they're not equal. We just know that there's some difference somewhere among those 2 groups. You can also set this. I've never seen this done before, but again, depending upon your research questions, the types of data that you're collecting, you can set this to look or to determine specifically whether group 1 scores are greater than group 2 scores or vice versa. But for this assignment, all you need is your student t-test. You're going to put in your dependent variables, your grouping variable, and we're looking at effect size. Okay, so just looking really quickly here at our results, we see that it gives us a t-value for each of the analyses. So This is our t-value for the pretest, our t-value for the post-test. It gives us degrees of freedom, and I'll talk about that in the next video, but understanding what this is important, especially when you're writing up the results of your study or of your analysis. We have our p-values here. We can see that for pretest, we have p-value of 0.36. For our post-test, we have a p-value of less than 0.001. So if we're using the p-value that's typically used with social sciences research, 0.05, we can see that there is no difference, right? No statistically significant difference between group 1 and group 2 because we have a p-value of 0.363. This is greater than, right, our p-value of 0.05. So we're going to say that there's no significant difference between group 1 and group 2 at pretest. And then our p-value here for post-test, 0.001. We can say that there is a statistically significant difference between group 1 and group 2 scores at post-test. And then we also have our Cohen's d. We can determine whether or not this is a small, medium, or large effect size. But again, this is something that will come in the next video where we're walking through the actual APA write-up of these results, right? So again, easy peasy, straightforward, no questions about this. I hope you're good. All right, so we'll move on then to video number 3.